and that is deadly. Some cases, there's not a lot they can do, even with dialysis and so forth. The other waste that we produce, uric acid, this is from using nucleic acids, building up, breaking down. This is what people who have gout can suffer from, getting stuck in the joints. And then creatinine. Any of y'all ever heard of the creatine phosphate? No? How?
I don't know, I just heard that.
My guess is going to be different articles that you may have read about how that is going to help your metabolism, how it's going to help your body be more efficient for exercise. I don't quite know if I buy that, but it is sold as like a supplement, GNC, stuff like that, okay? It is sold as a supplement. I don't have enough knowledge to say yes or no. I have my knowledge on how it works physiologically, all right? And that means I would say, you know, buying it as a supplement, I would suggest care and concern. But to say yes or no, I can't say that. So, this function of the urinary system, excretion, that's what we want it to do. We want these kidneys to do excretion. Separate the waste from the body fluids, blood, and get rid of it. Other organ systems that can help us get rid of waste, but pale in comparison to what the kidneys can do and to what they get rid of. When I say pale in comparison, they very much pale in comparison. The respiratory system does help us with the gases. In the integumentary system, water, sweating, inorganic salts, okay, lactic acid, because that's what builds up in the cells after we do some rigorous exercise. In the sweat that we produce, depending upon what type is getting produced, can excrete urea, but not a lot. Not enough to keep the body running. The digestive system, like I said earlier, the food residue, we do see it balance out water, salts, a little bit of CO2, lipids, the fats, biopigments, because we're going to see that the breakdown, like for example of urea and iron and some of that other stuff, what it will do is add pigment to feces. And so that does contribute to the pigments. Cholesterol and other metabolic waste. Our urinary system, we definitely get it to take care of metabolic waste. Waste from lots of chemical reactions occurring in the cells. All these other systems cannot do that. They do very little when compared to what the kidneys are going to do. They can help get rid of toxins, drugs, hormones, salts, hydrogen ions, water, therefore contributing to maintaining fluids, i.e. blood, in the body. In the anatomy, relatively simple. It's 2 kidneys for the most part. It can vary person to person. Yes, ma'am?
You know how you can donate a kidney? Does that put a lot of strain on your No, so it's where it's all the same.
Yes. As long as you're healthy, maintain a healthy weight, all right? Eat a somewhat balanced diet. The person who donates a kidney is not affected at all.
Can you have like the one machine?
It's fine. I mean, it's still going to carry out functions that you need for life. Doesn't mean there's going to be any problems whatsoever. Aaron?
Why do we need 2?
Now, doesn't mean that the 2 are not functioning, okay, because they will, all right? And sometimes one goes bad, the other one can take over, okay? So it's not that it's bad having 2 or that they're going to work any harder having 2. It just simply means that, okay, got back up, all right? Things go wrong, hopefully this one will take over. But in some cases, people do have just one. They have the one that's U-shaped. They may have one that is low functioning, but they're still fine.
Do they leave the low functioning one in there when they take it out? Like if one like gets messed up, do they leave it in there or do they take that out?
Actually, we tend to think that when people get the kidney transplants, all right, that they will take out the diseased kidneys. No. When a person gets a kidney transplant, it actually gets transplanted here in the lower abdomen. They do nothing with the diseased kidneys. Why? They're not functioning. They're not disrupting anything in the body. No need to take them out.
More risk to do a second surgery.
It's like
They're not like
what they basically do, they reroute blood supply to it
That's cool.
and reroute the ureters and so forth.
She had kidney transplant. However, after a few months, it went bad again.
Yeah.
So what do they do with them? They take that one out, right?
They would, yes, because if she got another one, they would want to replace it in that same spot. I've known several people who've had kidney transplants. Talk about life-changing for them, you know. And because they've come such a long way, you know, they've made huge advancements in how to match up the donor to the recipient that very few now are rejected. Of course, the person who gets it has to stay on immunosuppressive drugs, all right? But for the most part, lead a very healthy life. So we've got our kidneys, the ureters, the urinary bladder, the urethra, all right? Now, kidneys, like I said, for the most part, are against the posterior abdominal wall. They are considered to be retroperitoneal to the back, about the size of a bar of soap. In their structure, we're going to say they have a hilum, this little indent that's right here, renal nerves, blood vessels, lymphatics, and my ureter, which is trying to be represented right here. Their structure, just like everything else we've pretty much studied, 3 layers. outer, middle, inner. With the kidneys, we are going to say they have a fibrous renal fascia. Fibrous, fibers, okay? Renal means the kidney, fascia means the sheet, outer portion. They will also have a perirenal fat capsule, a wrapping around it, and then the capsule that will be fibrous also. As we look at some of these markings, the way that it looks to the interior, and so forth, look at your models, okay? And like I said, it kind of opens in half, so, you know, that's why I have one for every two. We have a portion called the renal sinus. Look at this area right here, okay? Close to blood and lymph vessels, nerves, and we're going to have what we call urine collecting structures, all right? We have what we term the renal cortex. When you're looking at your model that you've got, they're trying, not very well, but they're trying to show that on this outer portion to the outside, looks like it's a little darker in pigmentation. And then as you kind of move into where all these little pyramids are going to be, looks like it tries to lighten up. It's not very great on the models we have, but that's what they're trying to represent, okay? So what they're trying to show us, this outer portion is our cortex. This inner portion, where you kind of see all of those little renal pyramids, that's my medulla. Now, if you take your model, and if you look at these red pyramid type structures, okay, in between them, we've got columns. So, basically these structures to the outside look like they project downward towards my sinus area. Can everybody see that?
You're talking
Okay.
about the pyramids themselves, or?
No, the columns in between them. The renal columns are going to be the tissues that are moving and look like they're going down between the pyramids, moving towards the sinus. Basically, what the columns are, they're the separations between the pyramids. Does everybody see that? Okay? That leads me to a renal pyramid, the part that's the red portion. Termed a pyramid because it looks like a triangle. Okay? Looks like it has a broader base with a little point heading to the sinus area. Is everybody following me? Because this becomes important in the formation of urine. Okay? In a kidney, the pyramids are going to be about 6 to 10, all right, depending, like I said, each person is different. They do look like they are a triangle. The part that comes to a point facing the sinus is going to be termed the renal papilla. Papilla means projection. So this is looking like it is a projection coming to this point. Does everybody see that? Well, we divide the kidneys into lobes. So, if you're looking at the model, a lobe is referring to one pyramid and the cortex that's overlying it. So if you look at that pyramid and just follow it to the outer portion,